We take birth because we have some karmic debts left to resolve. These karmic transactions need to take place between two souls who have incarnated on earth in human form at the same time. Now, how does this transaction take place? The answer is through relationships. The relationships you have with your parents, your close friends, your children, your partner, or your romantic relationships are all part of this karmic exchange. These connections are called Runanu Bandhan. Rin means debt, and Bandhan means tie up or connection. Anyone significant in your life who has contributed in shaping your personality, your belief systems, and experiences, whether good or bad, is part of your soul family. Now, I have already explained in detail the concept of soul family, soulmates, karmics in another video. So, in case you want to watch it, I have provided the link down below in the description box as well as in the card section in the upper right corner of the screen. So, in case you want to watch it, you can go ahead and watch it first. So, in short, soul family is nothing but a group of souls who help each other resolve past karmas by giving pleasant or unpleasant experiences in this life. You see, it's very important to understand that spiritual growth is not just an individual journey, it also involves the people and environment around you. The interactions you have, the relationships you maintain, and the connections you form all contribute to your spiritual development because the quality of your relationships can either hinder or facilitate your spiritual growth. Because negative, draining relationships can slow down your progress and make it more challenging to maintain a high vibrational state. Now, when you embark on the spiritual path and you're just starting to awaken to the reality beyond the 3D material world, your aura begins to change. And as your aura changes, it needs to break the old vibrations and the old energy to make space for new energy. So, you would observe that during the initial stages of your spiritual growth, you may feel you have suddenly become very sensitive to your environment because your energy is changing. You can feel people's energy more acutely and you can easily see through the kind of karmic connections you have with the people around you. You can easily identify whether the souls around you are helping you strengthen your energy or causing it to leak. Now, if you don't know, we leak energy throughout the day from different nerve centers or energy centers in our body, mainly the seven chakras. We have the seven chakras in the body which are called the energy centers. I will explain in detail the seven chakras and the Kundalini energy in another video. But in this video, we are primarily focusing on how and what kind of energy we leak through these energy centers. First, coming to the Mooladhara chakra, which is also called the root chakra, we leak energy from this Mooladhara chakra by indulging in unhealthy food habits and sleep cycles. You see, if our Mooladhara chakra is imbalanced, then we are very preoccupied with the survival needs like food, sleep, and sexuality, and we become very lazy. So, all kinds of addictions occur because of imbalanced Mooladhara chakra. Then we lose energy from the Swadhisthana chakra or the sacral chakra by engaging in unhealthy sexual desires and activities. If the Swadhisthana chakra is very imbalanced, then we experience emotions like guilt and shame and inferiority complex. So, this chakra is primarily responsible for how you feel about yourself. And when this gets balanced, you become more accepting, you develop a better self concept. Now, moving on to the next chakra, which is the Manipura chakra or the solar plexus chakra, we leak energy from this chakra by engaging in too much power plays in conversations where we lose our light by trying to impose our belief systems on others, or when we try to manipulate others, or when we are too occupied in power games. The hunger for power is very prominent. Then comes the heart chakra or the Anahata chakra. Here, we lose energy when we are unable to trust people or are too trusting. The Anahata chakra decides what kind of connections you are able to build with people. If this chakra is imbalanced, then one becomes very skeptical and not trusting, and the ability to love unconditionally does not happen naturally. Then we have the Vishuddhi chakra or the throat chakra, and we lose energy from this chakra when we engage in conversations that don't align with our highest truth. when we pretend to be something or someone that we are not, or when we speak without conscious thought, or when we engage in gossip, or when we are unable to communicate our emotions properly. So that happens when the Vishuddhi chakra is imbalanced. So then we have the Agya chakra or the third eye chakra. So here we lose energy when we lack clarity in life, when we are unable to take decisions and life feels very directionless. So when this chakra is blocked or is very imbalanced, the person is not able to get in touch with their intuition. They're not able to think intuitively, you know. So this is how we lose energy throughout the day from our bodies through interactions with our environment and people. So now how do we protect our energy or prevent it from leaking? There are many ways to stop this energy depletion. There are several yogic practices employed by yogis who are far advanced in their hatha yoga practices, such as Medra Stambhana, which helps in controlling the prana energy or the life force energy within the body. If you practice yoga, this particular practice can help you. Otherwise, another method is stabilizing eye movements. For example, if you are engaging in an argument with somebody and all of a sudden you start feeling exhausted and you start feeling all drained out, in that moment, just pull your consciousness back from the person and try to focus your consciousness on the entire room. Now imagine that the whole room is looking at you, but do this without moving your eyes. Immediately you will feel a calmness in your mind as if the energy is returning back to you. You need to build this cycle of energy exchange. So once this cycle of energy is built, you won't feel exhausted or depleted when any such situation arises. Now, once you have ascended a significant amount on your journey, you will stop going to certain places or engaging with people that do not align with your energetic frequency. You will start attracting people in your life who are also on a similar path, who are also becoming conscious or whose awareness level is more aligned with yours. So it's very important to not fall back into ego traps when you reach this point, because it's essential to give yourself time to evolve and ascend to a level of stability where your aura doesn't get affected by the environment. When you are on the spiritual path, especially in the initial stages, it is best to not get into relationships immediately, because a partner is someone you share your aura with the most. You engage in sexual activities that strengthens the Runanubandhan with that person. Your auras overlap and energies get exchanged because you are spending a major chunk of your day with that person. So it's very crucial to first heal yourself and build a strong aura before getting into relationships that involve physical connections. Another situation that usually arises is that even if you get a supportive partner who encourages you in your initial stages, you don't really know who you will become in a few years on your spiritual journey, because timelines accelerate for you and your personality and energetic frequency will change rapidly. So if you are involved with someone who is not growing spiritually at the same pace, it's not going to last. So it's essential to isolate yourself and practice celibacy at least in the initial 1 to 2 years, depending on your individual journey. So first, recognize and understand the energies of people, protect your own energy, stabilize your energy, and then the right people will automatically enter your life to help you in your spiritual growth. That is why marriages are considered the most important relationship you will have, because the intimacy and the exchange of energies are more than in any other relationship. So it's crucial not to jump into relationships in your initial stages. Let your energy stabilize first. The right partner will find you once your energy is stabilized, because this path is divinely guided and the divine will make sure you are surrounded by people who help you grow on your journey. So take your time to evolve and enjoy this phase of isolation. Utilize this time for self-growth and in establishing a deeper connection with the divine within you first, before you establish a connection outside of you. So I hope you enjoyed this video and we'll meet again in the next one.